So, as you can tell by the title, and if you're one of my followers on Instagram, you know, sorry if you're hearing all crinkling and stuff. I just got a new bed and there's still plastic on it, so there's a crinkling noise. I just wanted to start off by saying, if you have not already, please read the description. I'm going to be talking about some personal stuff, personal to me anyways. So if I say words or say things or anything that might be offensive or anything like that, just skip over the stream, watch one of my other streams, or just go watch someone else. I don't mind. But also, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to, leave a like and subscribe and all that other stuff. So, also, I don't want it to just be boring. I don't have a face cam or anything, so I'm just gonna be playing this and just continuing on my survival, I guess, and also, talking. So, since we have someone here, like I said, if you haven't already, read the description. If you already read the description, you already know what's going to be talked about. Well, know the extent of what's going to be talked about. Yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, you know the fact that I was posting some stuff that was kind of cryptic, I guess, in the sense that it wasn't quite clear exactly what I was talking about. If you're one of the people that I know personally, like in real life, like, you know that there's stuff that goes on in my life, or stuff that went on in my life, that wasn't quite the happiest, kindest things to go on in someone's life. I'm not saying like my life is all depressing, I live out in a box or anything, like I'm being beaten like a freaking drum every 10 seconds, nothing like that, but just emotional wise, I'm not the very, not the very clear-minded of people. And I know this is going to be kind of a weird thing to talk about. I don't really like talking about my personal feelings or anything like that, because I'm really kind of a person that just likes to do things the way they are, try to keep my personal feelings and all that other stuff out of any other thing, like my streams and like my Instagram stuff. But recently I've had a bad flashback to the way my life was, to the way things were, and the way things weren't the brightest. And so what happened was, I'm just gonna start by saying, most people, when they go and they talk about, like, mainly this is gonna stem off from my parents, mainly my mom, because my mom, she's not the greatest of people. I'm not saying that took away my phone, or my mom took away my Xbox or whatever, and now I hate her for life and whatnot. I'm not talking like that. I mean, she did thing that any person, any parent should never do, which is really abandon, not like saying like put a kid in a cardboard box and leaving them to fend for themselves. I mean, like, for me it was like, I'm not being clear, hold on, I'm just gonna slap myself real there. My mom, she kind of, I'm just gonna start from saying this. What happened to me and my brother was that we used to live together, my mom and my dad, and then stuff happened, and some stuff happened, and then I ended up living with my grandparents My mom got a divorce with my dad, and so I started living with me and my brother. We started living with our grandparents. My mom was living there too. It was a little different, little transition. Eventually, my mom got a job, which was all good and all, and everything was going all smooth and stuff. And then something happened, something unforgettable. I'm gonna tell this story. One day, my mom comes home from work, and I give her a hug, and me and my brother are talking to her, and she starts getting ready to go somewhere. We think she's probably just gonna go to the store, so we don't ask her about it. And then dinner time comes around, and we're all sitting at the table, and there's a knock at the door. My mom's not sitting at the table, which was strange. So there's a knock at the door. We go, and I get up, and I go check to see who it is. And my mom comes bounding up down the hallway, like literally almost sprinting, and she never runs. So it was weird. But she comes down the hallway. She's like, "Don't answer the door." And that's already too late. Me being curious old 6-year-old me goes to the door like, I don't know, I think it was like 8. Yeah, 8 sounds about right, because I was 5 years old when I came to go live with my grandparents, and this was years after that, but that's besides the point. So I go, and I see this tall guy, small head, long neck, really weird looking, smelled really strange, and he's not like, I don't know, it was just something really off about him, and it was really offsetting to me, and it was really, and I mean offsetting, I mean like chills down your spine. This guy does not seem like the kind of guy you want to talk to, with some lanky white guy. And so he goes to the door, and he goes, "Hi," and I go, "Hi." And he goes, my mom's name is Selena, by the way. I don't really care about giving out her personal name. She's dead to me. I go, and you'll find out why I say things like that. Most people, when they say, like, someone's dead to them, they have to truly, truly mean that that person is, well, dead to them. And my mom was beyond dead to me. She's beyond the limit of forgiveness for anything. So back to what I was saying. What happened was, so he goes and says, "Hi, is Selena here?" I go, "Yeah, why?" And then my mom comes down the hallway, and she goes, "Hi, are you Steve?" And he's like, "Yeah, are you Selena?" And so they, say hi to each other. And this was a starting point of something that would rocket off into an unforgiving spiral of emotion, an unforgiving nightmare, a hellish state of being, if being is the right word to use in this statement. I asked my mom where was she going. She said she's going to go spend some time with Steve. I'm doing quotation marks, you can't tell. His name is actually Steve. I know his entire full name. It's a name that I can't get out of my head. It's burned into the side of my brain. It's tattooed into the interior of my skull. I can't forget that name. And what happened was I guess she went on like dates, I guess, with this man. I can't call him a man. This person. If person is putting it in the kindest terms possible. This person. I was always offset by him. I never, it was just unsettling being around him. just being around him, and he smelled of cigarettes, and I didn't know why. And my mom comes home from work, and she asks me and my brother, "Hey, do you guys?" And it was hot, so she's like, "Hey, you guys want to go swimming?" By then, we already knew who Steve was. We've seen him. My entire family had already seen him, and my grandparents, they were skeptical about him for reasons. And those reasons being is that when they found out that his parents also know my aunt's ex-boyfriend, they were not very happy about that, because my aunt's ex-boyfriend tried to ram my aunt, off the side of a bridge with my littlest cousin in the car, and a whole bunch of other stuff. That's a story for another day. But they weren't very happy about that. So what happened was and also, I'm gonna stop my story right now. If you don't know, I kind of ramble on sometimes, and I kind of tell long stories. So if this is a long one, just kind of sit back, and I don't know, I can't say to enjoy it, because it's not really something someone should enjoy. So as I was saying, my grandparents were skeptical of him, and so was I. I always kind of brushed it off, and I was a kind of a kid who always wore a smile on his face, who always laughed, and always, just kind of liked to smile. It was just something that I always did, and that's just the way I was. And I put heavy emphasis on the was part, because I'm nothing like I was, and I wish I was like I was before events. And so I'll get back on track to what I was saying earlier about when my mom asked me and my brother, "Hey, do you guys want to go swimming? Steve has a pool." So we're thinking like, "Oh, that would be fun." It was hot that day. We were thinking like, it would probably be nice to go swimming. And me and my brother, we rarely went swimming. There was like a high school pool down the street, and from where we lived. And so we were like, yeah, that would be fun. So we go, and at that point, me and my brother realized that what kind of a person Steve was. He was not the greatest person, because when we went swimming, we met his son. His son's name was Cody. So we met Cody. He was a nice kid. He was younger than me and my brother by a few years. So we met him, and he was nice, and we were swimming with him. We were having a good time. My mom came out, and she went swimming with us for a bit. Steve came out, swam for a bit too. And then eventually they went in, me and Cody and my brother. We were still swimming outside, and he would come out of the pool ever so often, because he was a smoker, and a really bad smoker. Like smoking like a freaking chimney kind of smoker. And my brother has asthma, and that was really bad. So that was one thing that was really off about him, that was not very good about him, and why my brother, after that day, never went back to his house to go swimming, was because he smokes, and his asthma would act up, and we didn't want him to just go end up in the hospital just because of that. So he never came back to go swimming. And later on, time passes by, and my mom asks, because by then my mom started, sorry, it's just kind of hard to talk about this kind of stuff when I start getting sidetracked. My mind just starts not forming words correctly. As time passed on, my mom would go out with Steve, and they would leave, and as time would pass on, she would start coming home later and later and later. And I was a kind of a person that I really loved my mom. I really did. She was like the go-to person for me. I would always talk to her. I always felt that I was really, really close to my mom. And I put heavy emphasis again on the was. And days would go by, and she would be spending more and more time with this Steve person. And I would wait when she would leave. I would wait up with my grandma because my grandma would stay up at night. And I would go into the living room, and I'd sit with my grandma, and she'd know that is because I worried about my mom. I fell asleep on the couch one day, hoping that my mom would come home and just wake me up and take me back to my bed. I wake up the next morning and I'm still on the couch. I go to the room to see if my mom came home and just decided to leave me there. And she wasn't there. We come home. I asked my grandma if mom came home. Mom didn't come home. Okay, it was weird. At that point, I didn't have a phone or anything, so I couldn't call her. Eventually, mom came home when it was around time she usually comes home from work. And I go to her, I ask her, Mom, how come you came home late? And she said, I spent the night at Steve's. So I'm like, okay. As long as she was okay, because I got really worried about her. And then time passed on again. She was spending more and more nights with this Steve. I was okay with it at the moment. I didn't think much of it. I didn't think much of it because I'm like, oh, as long as she's okay, it'll be fine. And time goes on, and it turns out it wasn't fine. It wasn't fine at all. Because then she asked me and my brother, hey, do you guys want to spend the night with me at Steve's? And it was during break, and we didn't have school, so we're like, okay, sure, that sounds fun. We started bringing the visits to Steve started becoming more frequent, staying the night. Eventually, my brother stopped coming to visit because Steve smokes, and plus my brother got a bad feeling about that place. And I was the kind of a person that would fall asleep very easily. When I'm with my mom, I would fall asleep fairly easily, very quickly. I wouldn't stay up very long. When I was told to go to bed, I would go to bed because I was tired too. So one day, it was just me, because when it was the weekend, Cody was there. Steve's son, was there. And so we would stay up at night. We would play games, watch movies, and sorry, I lost my train of thought. We would go to bed, and one of the days I decided not to go to bed, and it was just me. Cody wasn't there because it was a weekday, and he only visited his dad on the weekends. And so, I would be sleeping there, and I got up in the middle of the night because I had to use the restroom. So I go to go use the restroom, and I hear loud noises coming from Steve's room. I'm not saying like weird old adult time kind of things, noises. No, no, no. I'm hearing yelling, like angry yelling. I'm hearing thudding, like something hitting something, kind of a thudding. And like I said a second ago, not like, oh, adult time stuff, no. Because, I'm sure that would have sounded, to me, at the time, being young me, I probably would have heard it and thinking some other things. Because it was still young me, I'm like, oh, wonder what they're doing, I'm not gonna think. Anyways, that's besides the point. So I go and I finish using the bathroom and I hear Steve yelling and I hear my mom yelling at Steve. And I'm worried and I'm hearing these thudding noises. And I knock on the door, no one answers. I knock on the door again and there's still noise going on. I knocked on it again, then it goes quiet in the room, so I got really worried. So I started pounding on the door. Then my mom comes to the door and she goes, what's wrong? And I asked her if she was okay because I heard really loud noises. And she said, no, it's okay. Just go to bed. And I didn't second guess myself. I just decided to go to bed. Like, okay, I'm tired. It's probably nothing. My mom's probably right. It's nothing. So I trusted my mom. And I trusted my mom with my life and everything. I had complete faith in my mom. That's when lies started stemming off from that night, because nothing was okay after that. Nothing was alright. Time would pass on and I would hear that and I would still be getting that getting a sickening feeling in my stomach that something's really off about this, that this guy, this person was not cut out of paper like he says he was. He was odd, smoking a lot, doing all the stuff, hearing those noises. I was not comfortable with it. I would still go to stay the night because I wanted to be around my mom. I was the kind of a person that clung to their mom because she was really the only person that I thought I could trust and I thought I could give my life to without hesitation. And I was wrong. Because she just changed after she met Steve. She was not the same person. And I never noticed it until I actually started to notice it. Until I started to realize when I was getting older, something isn't right. You don't get up in the middle of the night and you hear someone yelling and you hear loud noises and you hear more yelling and just really angry yelling. You start to think in your mentality that something is off, something does not seem right. What is going on? And I started to look further into it. Eventually, my mom would come. At a certain extent, my mom would come to the house, and it was becoming regular. My mom would come to the house after working, and I would get a bag of stuff, and I would go spend the night with her. It was almost a daily thing, and then after, I would be taken to school. And at that point, Steve's son was almost living with him because Cody's mom was in the hospital, so he kind of had to stay with his dad. So I was kind of seeing him almost on a daily, and Steve would take Cody to school and then take me to school and drop my mom off at work because her car, because she had a car, but she wasn't making payments on it and she didn't want it to get towed or anything. And I didn't know about this until later on. And I go to see her one day, and she's not in her work clothes because she worked at a storage place, so she had this weird, she had this red shirt, and she wasn't wearing the red shirt, and I asked my mom, if she got off early today, and she was just waiting for me to get home from school, and by then, more frequently, she was coming to the house without her work clothes on, and it was something that she never did. Until I finally asked her, I went, Mom, and she's like, yeah. I go, were you fired? And then my mom, without hesitation, she took a breath and said, yes, but I wasn't fired, I quit. Okay. Time would go on and I wouldn't question it. When I brought it up to my grandma, she was upset with my mom because of that. And on the same day that I was telling my grandma about that, about how my mom was quote-unquote not fired but quit her job, my grandma was upset, one. And two, she got a phone call from the bank saying that a large lump sum of money, good thousands of dollars, was taken out of her bank account. And that money was going to be used to getting a new house because my grandma and my grandpa were thinking of moving, too excited about. So when she found out that the money that they were going to be using to move suddenly was taken out of their bank account, they decided to do an investigation on it, because when your account's breached, you could do an investigation on it. Come to find out, the person who took my mom wasn't just some random schmuck that wanted to steal money from unsuspecting people. Turned out that person was my mom. And I would hear about this. I wouldn't try to get wrapped up in adult business because that was adult business, but as time would go on, I'm telling what I found out after. That my mom stole money from my grandparents, and not only stole money, but she stole a lot of money. And by a lot of money, I mean an unforgivable amount of money. At that point, my grandparents were fed up with the fact that she quit her job, one, and stole money, two, and was living with someone rather than spending time with my brother and my brother and I mean, she was spending time with me, but she wasn't spending time with Junior because she would come to pick me up, and he wouldn't want to go with her. And so they got in heated arguments. Eventually, my mom basically moved out of the house. She didn't take me or my brother with her. She just kind of we came home one day from school, and we come home, and she's walking out of the house with big, huge boxes of stuff, and Steve's outside in his truck, and we go and we ask Mom, what's with all these boxes? And we asked, is it garbage or something? And she says, no, this is my stuff, I'm leaving. Your grandparents are being really stupid, and I'm just going to be gone for a while. And we're like, gone for a while? What do you mean by gone for a while? She said that, not to worry about it, she'll be back in a few days. So me and my brother were like, okay, we're not gonna worry about it. She said she's gonna be back in 3 days. We'll wait 3 days, and 3 days would have led up to the weekend. So we go, and we're thinking, yay, Mom's gonna be back today. We're gonna go out to eat lunch with her, because she said we were gonna go out to eat lunch. And me and my brother, we go outside, and we're sitting outside all day. My grandpa's sitting out in the garage because he likes spending time in the garage. So, we're sitting out in the garage, and we're waiting for my mom never shows up. We're sitting out there till literal midnight waiting for our mom to come. And we literally picnic ourselves outside in the garage with our dinner, with little food trays. My little cousin had a little DVD player, and we were watching a movie on that so we could have something to watch while we wait. And we're still waiting for our mom. Our mom never shows up. We go inside, take our showers, go to bed. And then weeks go by, like 2 weeks go by, and then my mom finally comes home. And we spend the day with her, and we're asking her how come she didn't come that day. And at that point, I didn't want to not be with her. So at that point, I just told mom that, Mom, when you're, when I get out of school, can you come and pick me up? Because I want to spend time with you. I don't want, I didn't feel comfortable with not knowing what she was doing because we didn't have a phone and she didn't call us. And she would normally call us to go and say, how was our day at school and stuff, just to kind of, normal parent stuff would ask. And so, we didn't have contact with her. And, time would go by and that would become a normal, which is something that shouldn't be normal. Having your parent not, keep contact with their kid, that's not. And so, sorry, it's just really hard to talk about something like this. Because I know to be honest, I had never said this stuff to anybody, let alone say it publicly. But I feel like saying it publicly will help make me feel better. Other than that, so like I said, time would pass on. My mom would just kind of show up, pick me up, not spend time with my brother. My brother would not want to spend time with my mom. And eventually I would come to realize why that was. When my mom started showing up to the house to pick me up with bruises, and she came home and she had lots of bruises on her arms and stuff, and on her neck and stuff, and they looked like thumbprints. And myself, I was very protective over my mom. And I was asking my mom, what happened? Why do you have bruises all over you? What's going on? Why do you look like that? And she started to look different. Over time passed on, she had a certain look to herself, something you'd come accustomed to. And as time would pass on, she started to not look the same. She started to look skinnier. My mom was on the chubbier side. I'm not gonna lie about that. She was on a chubbier side. And she started to look skinnier, like she wasn't eating. And that was worrying. I was wondering why my mom was looking like that. So she said, "No, it's fine, it's nothing." And Steve would come up, say some weird stuff. And yeah, at some point, me and my brother, we had an Xbox, and so we found out Cody also had an Xbox. And so what we would do is that we would bring our Xbox to Steve's house, and Cody would bring some of his games, and we would have some of our games, and we would just kind of play games together, kind of enjoy some time. Eventually, my mom stopped coming back to the house for some reason. She's just stopped coming back to the house to pick me up, and our Xbox was there, and we would ask my mom, when are you going to bring the Xbox back? Me and Jeremy want to play the Xbox. And she never brought the Xbox back, and we hadn't heard from her. And then a month goes on, and I mean a literal whole entire month of not hearing from her. not seeing her at all. She just randomly shows up and wants to spend time with us, me and my brother, and we're like, okay, well, she wants to spend time with us. I'm gonna, hold on a second, I'm gonna grab this bag of chips because I'm feeling hungry. I didn't have anything to eat for lunch, so. Sorry for the crunching. I'm just a little hungry. So, she still was looking different. She wasn't looking like her usual self. My brother and I, we didn't really question it. My grandma would talk to her when she saw her, if she saw her, because at that point, my grandparents were not the happiest people with her because they didn't really let go, and they still haven't let go of the fact that she stole money from them and still hasn't paid that money back. And basically abandoned me and my brother at our grandparents' house without a single word said to us for over a month. And like stuff like that, me being my own clingy mentality to my mom, I was, like I said, very attached to her. And when I was very emotional when it came to her, and eventually she just stopped talking to me and my brother. We didn't hear from her, and not only that, we stopped seeing her, hearing from her. Not great. Not great at all. Because my brother was not like talking to her like a lot like he used to. No, didn't ask questions why. It wasn't something I would question. And as you can probably tell, whomsoever is watching, it's kind of hard for me to talk about this kind of things. We didn't see her after she came and visited. We didn't see her for a long time because I'd be wondering why my mom hasn't come home. Why hasn't she said anything to me? How come she's, not responding to us? Eventually, my crying would reside for not seeing her. My emotions took a turn at that point. My entire being, after a whole 3 months passed. 3 months passed. Yeah. Hi, Ariel. 3 months passed, and it's hard to take it easy because my life up to this point has been an emotional train wreck. I've been a depressed mess, hiding behind a freaking mask of what is looked upon as happiness when it's not really happiness. It's just a hollowed shell that I crawl into to relive what I think is happiness. But I don't have happiness. And the only reason why is because, like I said, my emotions took a really bad turn at the point when my mom stopped seeing us. And since she stopped seeing us, and like I said, I was very emotionally attached to her, my emotions took a turn from that point of 3 months, and then months and months passed after that, and she would call on her birthday, or come and see us on me and my brother's birthday, and at least say happy birthday to us. Even if she didn't bring a present, I was happy to see her, show up. And eventually she stopped eventually she didn't come to my brother's birthdays, and that would upset me. And my sadness towards not, seeing her turned into anger, turned into a horrible rage to not be around her. I eventually never wanted to see her again because what she did to my grandparents, um, thank you. I For what she did to my grandparents, what she did to me and my brother, what she was doing to me and my brother, not seeing us, not keeping, contact, not seeing my brother, not giving my brother attention. And you could tell on my brother at least that what my mom was doing at that point, I had a realization that why my brother never really wanted to see my mom, never wanted to go and spend the night at Steve's house because of the way Steve was and the way things were. He had already realized before me the way things were. And my mom doing what she did was my own realization, my own rude awakening, and it was a really terrible rude awakening of how horrible the world is, how horrible people can be, how just utterly disgusting everything is. And it's horrible, to me at least, the kind of person he was, and the kind of person he was to my mom, and the kind of person he is. He's a kind of a person, he's my literal hell. He's my literal walking, living, breathing hell that just took something from me. When my mom left, and as time would go on, I would start to, change. My emotions were changing. My way of thinking was starting to change because my mom wasn't there. And my mom played a big role in my life. As to most people, their moms play roles in their lives, like really big roles. My mom wasn't there to play that role. She was gone. And I used to think, every time I would go to see her, I used to think I can get her to change the way she is. I could get her to stop the way she does things, to make her, make her a better person again. Because she was starting to become a person of, like, someone you wouldn't want to be around. And my mom never, smoked. I never seen my mom smoke. I never wanted to see someone like that, someone I truly care about, smoke. And knowing that smoking does something really, like, bad to you, you could die from it, kind of a thing. Really scared me because one day we were at the park and Steve was there, and randomly I'm playing, and I turn around to go to see my mom with a cigarette smoking, and that really upset me. And I literally leave the area. I'm not a kind of a person to wander, but I wandered away, like really like far away. It was a really big park, so I wandered really far away, and I just sat behind a tree and I cried because I felt that moment that my mom is killing herself by smoking. And at that point, I was still very attached to her. I was still very emotionally attached to her, and I thought I was dreaming. So I was hitting my head at the back of the tree, and I took chunks out of that tree. My head was okay. I was fine after. But I literally took chunks out of that tree because I was hitting that tree because I was thinking I was dreaming. I wasn't dreaming. I was in a freaking waking nightmare. And a nightmare that I still live in upon this day because of one person. I more or less hate one person. And I was told at a young age, don't use the word hate. Because hate is a very strong word. You can only reserve the word hate for something that deserves it. Something that really, really needs the word hate. Because when you start hating something, it's something that stays with you for the rest of your life. It's something that you really can't get rid of. And my mom, I started having a hatred towards her. And my grandparents would say, don't hate your mom. She's your mom. And I told her, I told my grandparents at one point when they told me, I said, I can't. And the only reason I can't is because she's not a mom. She's not my mom anymore, at least. Because she would rather spend time with this man, if he can even be called a man, rather than spend time with her own kids. Rather spend time with a kid that isn't even hers, her son. Would rather spend time with him, rather treat him more like a son than her actual sons. It's disheartening to think about it like that. And to be honest, I really don't like thinking about that. Because at some point, it started to take me, I started to, you know, like really stress over it. Like overthink, overstress it. And it started to eat away at my own personal health. My grandparents could see it. My brother could see it. And I could see it in my brother. Eventually, he got over it. He accepted it. And I didn't accept it. And I couldn't accept it. And as I said, it started to take, like, my health started to be affected by this. And by affected, I mean, I ended up in the hospital, almost dying. And this is over 3 years of me living with this. Over 3 years of me not seeing my mom. Over 3 years. Whole years. Not a single day of hearing her, not seeing her face, not getting a message, not even getting a goddamn letter. Nothing. No communication. No freaking smoke signal. I would have been happy if I would have seen a goddamn smoke signal or anything like that. Just showing that she's there. That she's still, like, you know, that she still thought about me and my brother. That she at least had us in her heart at the moment. And I don't think she does. At this very moment in time, I don't think she does. And at any given moment, I always think, what is my mom doing right now? No, I know what she's probably doing. She's probably on some freaking drug high, because at some point I heard from my grandparents, and I saw it myself, and everything started to piece together when my grandparents told me that your mom she's using drugs, because my grandparents saw her, because my mom tried to be there again, and my grandparents started trying to forgive her. And when they saw her doing that, they kicked her out, because they didn't want that kind of things in their house. And like I said, time goes on, and I'm kind of rambling on still, but I'm gonna get back to topic about my health itself. Like I said, I started stressing over it, and overstressing, and need I remind you, I'm only, when was this? As most people know, if you ever follow me on Instagram or ever heard me talk about it, I always say, I make jokes about me having type 1 diabetes. Just because, hey, it's no big deal. It's something I had to live with. And the only thing was because how the story of how that kind of came to be was because of my mom. Because of me stressing, I gave myself a sickness. And I know type 1 diabetes is not like something that, oh, well, you eat really horribly, and so just because of that, here you go, here's diabetes. No, type 1 diabetes is different, because type 1 diabetes is hereditary, meaning it's passed down through genes, through generations. And autoimmune disorder because diabetes is considered an autoimmune disorder, and by autoimmune disorder I mean your immune system doesn't work properly. With type 1 diabetes, it has to do with your pancreas, and your pancreas produces this thing called insulin, and insulin breaks down sugars to help your cells eat, to keep your body healthy. My pancreas, my pancreas or whatever it's called, both of them, they weren't working properly. They started not to work. And that had to do with autoimmune disorder. My immune system, pancreas, wasn't working properly or wasn't wanting to work. And so I got really sick. I started to not eat because I felt like I was going to throw up half the time. I started feeling extremely cold, even though it was boiling hot. It was 100 degrees one day, and I felt like I was freaking sitting in a freezer for over 3 days. And if you sit in a freezer for 3 days, you're gonna be cold. So I would be sitting in my bed wrapped up in like 10 blankets because I was freezing cold. And then I was drinking lots of water. And I was drinking a profuse amount of water, like a whole at least 5 gallons or so a day. And it was starting to increase the amount of water I was drinking because I was extremely dehydrated, because my cells were being deprived, and I started to look skinnier, like really skinnier, because I was a chubby kid. I can't lie about that. I was a chubby kid. And being that, my grandparents started to notice. At one point I ended up, like I said, feeling like I was gonna throw up half the time. I was here, thank you too, Wolf. I was like half the time feeling like I was gonna throw up, and eventually I did. And at that point, my grandma decided, well, you're not that good. We're gonna take you to the hospital because you don't look that good. And I started to look pale, like if you've ever seen a dead body or seen someone that was close to death, they look pale, like extremely pale, like absurdly pale. And I'm a darker colored kind of Mexican child, and so my skin color is little slightly darker, on the darker side, but I looked pale, like I looked like a freaking ghost pale. That's how my grandma described me. I looked like a freaking ghost, like I had a sheet thrown over my entire skin, and now I'm a freaking ghost. And I started to feel like extremely weak. I couldn't like move. I was dehydrated. When I went to the hospital, they were asking me like, because this was around the time when Ebola was like a really huge thing, like huger than it is. And if it still is, I don't even know if it is anymore. But like they were like, have you been to Africa or any place that had Ebola there? And I'm like, I've never left the damn state before. I've always lived in California and never really left California. The farthest I've been was to Yosemite, and that's, still not that far. It's still in California. But besides that, when they came in, I got an IV in my arm, and they were taking blood samples, and they were saying I didn't look very good. And then they went and they just tested my blood glucose, which is my blood sugar. They go and they test it, and the nurse, and I'm literally half out of it because half the time I was feeling like extremely tired, like I was gonna fall asleep in the middle of class. I was in school, and I fell asleep in class. And I'm not the kind of a person who would fall asleep in class. I'm kind of a top grade student. I don't like to be like one of those slacking kids that don't give a crap about their grades. I literally fell asleep in class, and I sit in the front row, so the teacher noticed me sleeping, and they know that I'm not the kind of a person that would do that. So they asked me to go to the office, and then I got sent home. All the other stuff transpired. I end up in the hospital, and so the nurse goes to test my blood sugar, and she had this funny face, and my grandma asked what was wrong, and they go, oh, it's nothing. And so she goes to test it again, and test it again, and the machine read error. And she said, okay, that's weird. They bring in a bigger machine, and I asked what was that for, and they said it's just for testing my blood sugar. And I said, wasn't that thing supposed to do that? And they said, yeah, but it might be broken, so we're going to use this one. And so we go, okay. Use that one, error. And then that's when they brought in the IVs, and that's when they said there was something really wrong, and they decided to take me into a side room. And eventually the doctor came and, well, the thing is, and they were taking blood too. So they said, the thing is, you might have type 1 diabetes. And at that point, I'm like, well, pfft, okay. And the doctor's like, now, most kids your age would think like, oh, well, oh no, I got diabetes, instant death sentence, oh, you're gonna die, Me, he said that I had the strangest reaction. And not just because I was half out of it, but because I took it like it was nothing. And he said it was weird to him. And I said to the doctor that I've been through a lot worse personally. Getting diabetes isn't gonna be very much to me. And so, oh no, please internet, don't cut out on me. I hope this broadcast doesn't stop, because if it does, I'll just restart it. And so the doctor said you might have diabetes, and it doesn't mean you're gonna instantly die, like I'm going to like clock you in right now, you're dead, kind of a thing. And so go, okay, well, that's fine. By then my grandparents were all super worried, and they didn't have like my they had like a brief little bit of my medical information, but they didn't have a lot of it. And my mom wasn't answering like usual. When we would call her, she wasn't answering. And this was a kind of an emergency kind of thing, because I was literally dying. And as I was told later on by the doctor said you were literally dying. Because when I was actually came through and actually got better a little bit, I got slightly better. I asked the doctor what happened when I got here, because what they told my grandparents was, we don't have the tools to, take care of the situation. We're gonna send Julian, that's my name, so yeah, whatever. We're gonna send him to the children's hospital in Madeira, and so that's like a 2-hour trip from here to Madeira. So yeah, when I came through, the doctor said, well, you were pretty much dead, and it's miraculous that you're even sitting here talking today, because scientifically, medically, you would have been dead, but you're not. So kudos to you. Yay, you're not dead. You survived death. Good on me. So I'm like taking it one stride at a time, more like 10 strides, and I'm like, okay, alright, no big deal. And like I said, when my grandma was trying to get a hold of my mom, she never got a hold of her, and eventually she did get a hold of her, and by then they were already saying that I need to be sent to a hospital. And then she was arguing with my grandma whether that she should be here, that she should, be here, that your son's in the hospital, you should at least care and be here. But nope, she didn't get here till about 5 minutes before I was about to head off into the other hospital. And then she rode in the ambulance, and then she started acting like a mom should act, worried and all that other stuff. At that point I was thinking, well, maybe my mom's gonna change. And my grandparents thought, well, maybe your mom's gonna change now. Maybe this right here, this what's happening to you, is gonna be her rude awakening, and she's gonna actually finally realize what she's been doing was wrong, and come to her senses and start acting like a parent again. And at that point, I'm thinking like, yeah, maybe my mom will finally start acting like mom again. Maybe I'll actually get my mom back. And for a time, she did act like a parent. For a time. And I mean for a time, like about a month. Which is good, I guess. But like I said, she started acting like a parent again, and so I was happy that she started acting, you know, like mom. That didn't very last long. Apparently, that she decided, well, eventually, after I ended up out of the hospital, I got diabetes. So flippin' what? Screw the world. I'm fine. I'm alive. Still kicking. The world's not rid of me yet. She started back doing the same thing, and it didn't take too long before she started back doing the same thing. And the cycle restarted, where I would go and I would spend the night with her. I would hear Steve and her argue, the loud noises, everything just kind of came full circle. And it was like reliving the same days over and over again. And things went back to the way they were. Then she stopped, you know, contact with me and my brother. She stopped talking. She just kind of went back to the way it was, and that was really bad. And I thought, and then I got really, at that point, I was really, really mad at her. No, not right now. I'm sorry if I'm gonna be rude, Dundre. Not right now is not a very good time. Like I said, if you haven't read the description, just read it, please. But you know, and Wolf, I'm not sad over it. Currently right now, I'm over the fact that my mom isn't a mom. I'm over the anger. I'm over it because, like I said, it was playing roles into my you know, my physical and like mental state. It was starting to affect it in a negative way, and so I kind of gave up over it. But like I was saying, where was I? I think I was saying something about, yeah, so she was going back to the way she was, getting back on track. It, like I said, it's just that my, Dundre, so I'm just kind of talking about, like, my personal life because I had a weird, like, flashback of how my life was, and my life isn't, like, the most fantastic thing. So like I said, if you haven't read the description, or if you had read the description, if it's not what kind of a stream that you enjoy, just, I'm sorry. It's just God, I kind of have to let loose what I have stored up inside, because like I said, it's still playing roles on me, and it's playing roles on me today because, yeah. So like I said, she went back into doing the way that she was, you know, not keeping contact, and yeah, not keeping contact. No, it has nothing to do with my mom, like, doing anything like that. My mom is just not the greatest person. She's not a very good person. That's all that needs to be said about that. But I'm just going to continue my story. But it has nothing to do with that. So, like I was saying, she went back to doing the way that she was, you know, not keeping contact, just not being mom again. And at that point, I was very furious with her because I thought she would change. I thought me almost dying would at some point click in her mind that, oh, maybe I should change, maybe my actions, because when we asked the doctor, again, this is a different doctor, how this was caused, and he said it was all hereditary and all that, but also what really kind of turned on my diabetes and turned on instant almost death mode into my system was stress, and stress was one of the things he listed off. And well, I could admit at the time that I was extremely stressed over my mom, angry and all that, and it was nothing that a freaking, oh, how old was I? I was in 6th grade when this happened. And so yeah, and like I said, I thought that maybe that would be a rude awakening, that she'll finally realize that what she's doing is wrong, what she's done is wrong, and that she should change. Well, she never changed. She still hasn't changed. She still doesn't care. And I don't know. She's not... Like I said before, I used to care a lot about my mom. As do most people do. They really care about their parents. I used to care a lot. I used to think I could change the way my mom is. That if I tried just hard enough, that if I try hard enough, that she'll change, that she'll come home, that she'll start acting herself again. That if I can do anything, and as it, like, I was still, you know, with a young mentality that I could do anything. And boy was I wrong, because I was basically smashed down to earth as soon as that ship took flight. That thought that, oh, you could do anything, anything is possible if you just try hard enough, if you just do hard enough. That anything that you do will I can make a difference, you can make a difference. And that wasn't true. And at those points, I got that rude awakening that oh, nothing you do is gonna matter. In the long run, nothing you do, nothing you say will change anyone's opinions. People are set in the way things are. People are set in the way they are. That no one can change, truly change. That, well, yeah, I was motivated to the sense that I could change her, but I couldn't. I could not. I tried, and I tried my hardest, but my hardest wasn't hard enough, apparently, because she's still doing the same thing. And it really hurts. It really does, because I wish I could care about my mom. I wish I could have those feelings back. But my mom literally took my happiness, took my heart, took my whole being, and she took it up like a piece. Oh, look, that's cool. Took it up like a piece of paper, took out scissors. No, wait, she didn't even take out scissors. She just ripped it up into pieces, tore it up into shreds, like it was nothing. My heart, my entire happiness, my entire well-being, she took it, and as much as I gave in, that trust, she took that, ripped it up. She took my happiness, took that, tore it to pieces. She took what made me, me. Like I said in the beginning, I was a very happy, very smile all the time person until these events happened. And so when these events happened, all that, you know, literally changed, and I wasn't the same. I'll look over there too. And damn it. You ever heard the story of what is it called? Icarus. Have you ever heard this? If you've ever heard the story of Icarus, I'll just tell it right now. That there was once a kid and his father, whose name, his father's name, I can't remember, but his son's name was Icarus, and they were locked in this tower. Basically, what happened was his father decided that he was going to make a way so that his son and him could leave the tower. What they did was his father constructed wings of wax and feathers, and basically what their plan was that they were going to fly out of the tower, fly to freedom. But his father warned his son, when you take flight, don't fly too close to the sun, or your wings will melt and you'll come crashing back down to earth. His son understood, but didn't truly understand, because, as the story goes, his son, after taking flight, flew too close to the sun, his wings melted, and he came crashing back down to earth. I wish it was that simple. I wish that I could, you know, but I try. I try to, you know, change the way things were, because after those events, I never really smiled very much. I didn't really, okay. I didn't really smile that much. I wasn't really myself very much, because I was missing something. And, I know. And I did. It's just, if you compare the way I am now, compared to the way I was, say, 2 years ago, you could tell that there was a 100% different person. Because I would not talk at all. I would not say a single word. I would just be clammed up, just, you know, not talking. Because I was so angry at the world for cursing me with such bad luck, I guess. For, you know, for things being the way they are. I was angry. I'm not angry now at the world. And to be honest, I'm not that mad at my mom as much as I was, and as much as I want to be now, because, like I said, being mad at her was stressing me out, and it was stressing me out to the point where it was affecting my health. And then it was re-affecting my health when she went back to doing the things that she did. God damn it, I did it again. And it was affecting my health. So, please, the real gamer, just read the description, please. I put it literally in the title, so please read the description. And to be honest, now's not, like I said earlier, now's not a good time for that. So, like I was saying, what was I saying? Also, I find myself forgetting things more and more, and that's kind of not good, I guess. Like, I'll be having a simple conversation 1 second, and yeah, I would be having a simple conversation at some point, and then out of nowhere, my mind will just suddenly, out of nowhere, inexplicably get sidetracked, and then I forget completely what I was talking about. Yeah. The whole reason why I did this stream was because of something that reminded me of it. What reminded me of my situation with my mom. And since it reminded me, I just wanted to, you know, get it out of my system and just talk about it, because I don't like talking about it. I don't like talking about my personal feelings. I don't like talking about my personal life. But sometimes things that need to be said need to be said. I still have that mentality. To this day, I still have that mentality that I could still change anyone. That I could sway decisions. I could, you know, make people think what is the right thing and what's the wrong thing. And to this day, I'm still haunted by the fact that I couldn't change one person, and the one person that it truly mattered that didn't change and couldn't change and still hasn't changed is still doing the same things that they still did. It's horrible. And I may be just you know, over exaggerating it, and maybe just a bit overthinking it, because I tend to overthink things a lot. It's kind of a bad habit, I guess, overthinking things. But oh, no. Okay. Uh-oh. That was a horrible idea. Okay. Like I said, like, I don't know, I'm getting sidetracked again. Focus. 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 God. Okay. God. I have a hard time focusing. I used to not have a hard time focusing, but... Where am I exactly? Hold on a second. I'm in a hole. That explains things. But yeah, like I was saying, I don't... Like, once I started thinking about it more, is that I don't really dislike my mom anymore, because I can't say I hate her anymore. And like I said earlier, like, hate is a strong word, and I use dislike instead of hate. I don't really dislike my mom as much as I did when I was smaller, I guess. And yeah. Oh. Excuse me. Yeah, like I was saying, I don't really dislike my mom as much. There's only one person that I have a burning passion of hatred towards. Because there's only one person that caused all of this. and caused a trickle effect that ultimately led to me stressing, me almost dying, and everything. That one person was Steve. And Steve, you know, he took my mom away from me. And my mom was my source of happiness. She was the go-to person that, like I said, I was very attached to her. And he took her away. He made her different. He changed the way she was, because, like I said, she never smoked. And then till that one day I saw her, and then when I asked her about it, she told me she does it once in a while. And she started looking skinnier. She started having bruises and stuff on her. And no, what's even worse is that, like I said, she'd rather spend time with that person rather than me and my brother. But what makes it even worse, even more terrible than it already is that she still stays with him. That she still wants to be with him. Despite the way he is. And despite what he has caused. Because if you remove him from this whole equation of things, if you remove Steve from all of this, everything would be a whole lot different. Everything would be a lot easier. Everything would be a lot more manageable. Because without him, I have my mom. Because without him, she wouldn't have changed. Without him, she would still be here with me and my brother. Without him, my grandparents wouldn't be mad at her for stealing money. Without him, I would be whole. I know I did. Yeah, I don't know. Someone's mentality to stay with someone who's abusive makes me think, like, what must be going through their head? What fraction of their mind would make them think that, hey, if this person is abusing me, if this person is hitting me, if this person is keeping me from people that I truly care about, then why am I still with this person? But like I said, that kind of mentality will never cease to make me comprehend it. And I don't want to comprehend it. It's some knowledge that's, not all knowledge is good knowledge except for certain things, and those are one of the certain things that you don't really want to know. But like I said, without him, everything would be a lot better. But she still stays with him despite everything that's happened. And what's even worse is that, like I was saying before, I used to live with my grandparents, okay? And then stuff transpired, and now I'm not living with my grandparents as of last year's August. I don't live with them anymore. I live with my dad now. And, hi, gamer. Yeah, I live with my dad now. Yeah. Well, it's good to hear that at least someone can change. At least it's good to hear that it's possible for people to change, for people to realize what's wrong. At least it's good to know something like that actually exists still. But yeah. What was I saying? Like, I got lost my train of thought again. Good O's on me for forgetting what I was thinking about. What was I saying? Yeah. But like I was saying, without him everything would be a lot easier to handle. My mom wouldn't be the way she is. And that's the only person that I have a burning hatred for now. 'Cause I swear, and I swear to God, I swear to any heavenly, otherworldly being that has ultimate power over all mortality, that if I were to ever come face to face with that person, whether or not that he decides to, whether or not he feels that he needs to, come face to face with me or my brother, he better be prepared to be knocked out on his ass. And I'm being perfectly honest, because if my grandparents said, if you ever want to see him or face him man to man, then wait till you're older. I told my grandma, I don't care that he's older than me. If he truly wanted to face me or my brother face to face, he can do it now, because I don't see him as a man. I don't see him as anything. I see him as a creature that took something very valuable, very unreplaceable. And I'm not the kind of a person that picks fights with people. I'm not the kind of a person that would fight people. I'm more of a kind of a person that likes to solve problems, likes to solve issues with words. Because like I said before, I still have the mentality that I could change the way people are. In some ways that's true, some ways it isn't. Because sometimes I had those moments where, hey, I decreased the situation, I made a situation better, I helped someone, and to be honest, that's what gave me that mentality back, that I could still change people. But yeah. What was I gonna say? I can't even remember what I was gonna say now. Aren't I a dumb? Aren't I loose-brained and dumb? So yeah. That's about, I think, all that I wanted to get off my chest, that I can at least remember right now, because my brain just took a complete dump and decided not to work properly, and it's like, hey, well, he talked for quite a long time. Well, it's time for us to shut down for the night, blah, and completely gone. So, yeah. But like I said, I'm over it already. I'm over the fact that my mom doesn't want to be a mom anymore. Yeah. We'll see. I'm over that fact. I'm over the fact that she decided, well, that she didn't want to be a part of me and my brother's life. And like I was saying earlier, that's what it was, I just remembered. Like I was saying earlier, that I'm not living with my grandparents anymore, I'm living with my dad now. And, because stuff transpired, and that does not need to be said at this very time and moment. But what happened was, after I left, I didn't get one single phone call from my mom. And my grandparents called me and said that your mom's gonna be calling, so make sure you answer. And she never called. And that still told me at that time and moment that she still doesn't care. And the fact that she didn't even call me, she didn't even text me, I still haven't heard from her. And it's still been about... The last time I heard from her was 2 years ago. Legitimately heard from her was 2 years ago. And apparently, as to hearing from my brother, that my mom's changed a lot. Quote unquote changed a lot. I don't really believe that. And the only reason I don't believe that is because seeing her and it's a kind of thing that you have to see it to believe it. And the way my mom is well, you have to really see that she's changed rather than believe someone telling you that she's changed. Because she may seem like she's changed because she's went through times where she's like, oh, well, I'm gonna change, and then 1 month later she's back to the same thing again, and it happened twice. So, figure it out by now. Well, yeah, I know. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Heh, heh. English good. Am I right? Huh? Huh? Yeah? Yeah, I'm English good. Yeah. But just the whole reason why I wanted to do this stream and just to talk is just because of me having that moment of thinking, that moment of remembering something like that. And yeah, like I said, I'm over the fact of my mom. I'm over it. Hearing that she's changed, well, I had to see it to believe it moment. If I see that she's actually changed, then that would be, fantastic. If she hasn't, well, it won't be a surprise. But yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop talking about it now, just because if I keep on about it, then I'll start thinking about it more, and then it will become a problem, because then I'll start stressing about it, and then I don't want to end up in the hospital and half dead again. But yeah, I know this stream could have been, well, better, because, well, all I'm doing is talking and playing this and stuff, and Jib. Yeah, so yeah, me too, but I doubt it. But yeah, so other than that, on a different side note, I'm just gonna kind of give an update on my channel real quick. I'm gonna try to do, streams like I did before, like streaming almost daily, because, hey, spring break's coming around soon, and plus I'm almost done with all my freaking schoolwork. Like, I'm homeschooled, so my quote-unquote teacher gave me all of my work to do when I first met her, and so I'm just about done with 2 months to spare, so hey. Yeah. So hey, yeah, kudos on me for almost finishing every single thing. But other than that, like I said, I'm gonna be doing almost daily streams. I also have a Twitch channel too, so if you want to just see me do gaming videos instead of me blabbering out my own personal feelings, like I usually, well, like I'm doing now. Oh, that's good to know. Thank you, Wolf. I can always count on you. Always so reliable. So, yeah, like I said, I also have a Twitch channel, and also I do have an Instagram and a Twitter too. So if you want to follow me on theirs, that's always readily available. It's the same name. I don't know. I'm too lazy to put it in the description. Don't ask me why. I'm just lazy that way to put the link in the description. So it's the same name on every freaking social media platform. My name is exactly the same as this name. So yeah. Anyways, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this sadder stream. Well, why do I say sadder? I mean sad. Stream. Yeah. Yeah. It's good about having a small YouTube channel. You get to know your subscribers more, and your subscribers get to know you more. Ain't that a fantastic sight? So yeah, like I said, you want to follow me on the social medias, always the same name as this one. And if you like the stream, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to my channel. And thank you to Wolf, thank you to Ariel, thank you to everyone who came out to my stream and commented and shared stories. And you know, we're just here to lend an ear. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I think I'm gonna end it off here. So like I said, if you like the stream, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And if you're watching this after the fact of the stream, I don't know if you would, if you make it this far. If you make it to the very end, okay? If you make it to the very end of the stream, I want whomever makes it to the end of the stream to comment pickles. I don't know. I kind of really want a pickle for some reason. Don't question me. I just want a pickle. But, yeah, if you made it to the very, very end of the stream, comment pickle. If you're watching it after the fact stream, that is. And, yeah, if you're watching it after the fact stream, don't forget to comment. Yeah, if you have Instagram or Twitter or anything, you could probably just DM me on one of those. Probably DM me on one of those, and I'll give you my number, just so I don't like give it out on stream, so I don't have like random people like, hey, how's it going, your phone number's here, and then getting random prank calls and stuff, because I don't like that. I already get enough solicitatory calls. So yeah, if you're watching this after fact stream, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and like what would you like to see me do next. If you liked this, I know I didn't really do much in the Minecraft aspect, you know, the survival aspect. Did find diamonds and burnt 2 emeralds, but who cares? I actually do. But yeah. Like I said, I still like my intros are just getting longer and longer of me saying the same exact thing like 20 different times. So yeah. If you like the stream, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all that other good stuff, and yeah, I'm gonna get on out of here. So yeah, so thanks again to Ariel and Wolf who stayed out to the whole stream. I really appreciate it. And so yeah, with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next stream. So yeah, bye.